Welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Hey, my nosy people. Wagwan. Hope everyone is blessed. I want to say a big thank you to all my new subscribers. Welcome to Nosy People Them Crew. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button. Anyway, I came on here to talk about the latest episode of Ready to Love. Now, for this week, it was the men's week, so it meant that they had to do the kind of, culling of the women. For this week, what was interesting also is that, once again, Tommy introduced 2 more new blind dates, but these were the final ones he announced, and then pushed the whole, it's going to be quality over quantity kind of talk. So what happened with the new date? So we had a new man, Donovan. We also had the new lady, Christina, and she went on a date with Wiley. They seemed to get along well. Wiley seemed to like her quite a lot and was quite giddy, laughing away. Now, Donovan went on a date with Precious. Precious to me was a bit too full on and laid it on way too thick. It was almost kind of a bit thirsty. She's just letting people know that she likes them, but I feel like she's just going to bite it a bit in the wrong way. But Donovan, an interesting character. He kind of gave me vibes like he was on the DL or maybe potentially bi, not trying to judge, but just what I thought initially. But, we'll see how he gets on. And already we can see Dakia likes him too. And I think, it'll be interesting to see how he navigates. He seems like he knows what he wants because straight away after talking with Precious, he really decided that she wasn't ready for him. And, Precious had that kind of response from a few of the guys. And I think it's just the way she carried herself because of the beach house situation. I felt like she was a bit too litty. She had too much drink and she seems to just converse with the guys on more of a sexual level. And it was interesting to hear the guys, like, for example, Dimitri saying, is there going to be a deeper level? And he kind of, wasn't really interested in her and mentioned, he's not interested in going out to bars and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, like, going out as a couple isn't like a big deal. Obviously, it's not the whole main focus, but to me, going out as a couple shouldn't be a big deal. He made himself sound a bit boring in that way. But I also thought, it's interesting to see that these guys seem to know what they want. You can see there's a big difference between last season and this season. I feel like the women, they're all gorgeous, like last season, but there seems to be less cattiness at the moment. Although, it might be early days, given the fact that Carmen seems to be making a play for Eric, who Dakia also seems to like. And Dakia is quite popular with the guys. I think that's quite interesting as well, actually watching the show, seeing who's popular and who's not. So Precious, looking at her, she's a pretty, they're all gorgeous women, and Precious is a pretty lady, but she's not, doing well with the guys. And the same for AP. Now AP, because she's a widow, I had already thought that maybe it might not be the right kind of show for her, just based on her interaction with her first blind date with Clifton. I feel like she needs to warm up in the dating world. She seems a little bit out. I don't know what it is. Even Dimitri, yes, who took her on a date, was more grilling her. You can see that she's not really his type. And he did say that. But one of the points that he did make that I thought was quite interesting was the fact that he feels like maybe she needs a bit more time and she's not quite ready because obviously she's a widow. And she does mention it. And I know Eric also kind of said that when he was speaking to her, he felt like when people talk about the past a lot, maybe they're not over it. But also, I feel a bit bad for her in that same respect because it's like, well, maybe she's not over it. But also, if that was her last big relationship and you guys are asking her, what was your last relationship? Then she's going to obviously mention her ex-husband. So with that, I feel like she's in between a bit of a rock and a hard place. But overall, I do feel like I can see her coming out the process over Precious next week, but we shall see. But yeah, so Precious and AP were in the men's bottom. Some interesting interactions as always. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, the whole Eric and the Kia situation. Now, I found it really interesting because obviously, like in last season, they had the situation where the candidates kind of go away somewhere and Tommy set up a beach house for them to go to. The men arrive first. Eric's a chef, so he's happy to be in the kitchen cooking it up. The guys are outside chilling and elaborating about women and love and stuff like that. So that's all cool, right? But what I thought was interesting was when Dakia went to go and speak to Eric and tried to get to know him a bit more, because obviously she likes him. And they were, having a nice little chat. And then in walks Carmen, and she purposely walked in. It's almost like you could cut the tension with a knife, because you can see where Dakia is looking at her like, what kind of woman is this? This is how you're just going to come in here and just, throw a spell in the works. And Carmen was kind of acting like, oh, yeah, that's right. When Dakia said, you know what, come and find me when you're ready. and kind of made her exit like a lady. I thought Carmen is on some catty behaviour, like, oh, well, basically saying to Eric that she planned to kind of get rid of her and, who's his number one and all this kind of stuff. And then obviously it transpires that those two have a relationship outside of the show, where he mentioned that he's worked with her before. So obviously he knows her. But prior to this show, they've not really entertained dating each other. So I find it really interesting that she's kind of putting her claws in and trying to kind of push Dikia out the way. And I also thought it was interesting that she tried to push him to say who's his number one. And clearly he did it because he was pushed, but he didn't use the words number one, because in the confessional and to the guys in the men's lounge, he made it quite clear that he is very interested in Dikia. Not to say that he's not interested in her, but obviously I feel like he's interested in Dikia, and I feel like the way she handled herself can be seen as a bit too pushy, and not all men will kind of like that. I didn't like the way she done that with Dikia personally, but obviously it's each man for themselves, and they are clearly operating like that. I think next week's going to be interesting because you can see Tori is feeling Sabrina, but Sabrina likes Dimitri a bit more. I feel like she's entertaining Tori because he's there and he's showing her affection. He bought her some cupcakes, so she's like, he's cute, he's showing her attention, but really you can see that she really does like Demetrius is an interesting one. Like I said, I feel like we see a bit more of him. He does seem like to know what he wants. I feel like he's an interesting one, and it was interesting to see him actually pull Sabrina to the side to show that he was interested in her. He does seem a bit standoffish. Now, what I was thinking about was Laverne went on a date with Joy and they got on really well, although I don't necessarily like Laverne for Joy. But I think they have good, they had good banter. But I think personally they should be in the friend zone because I prefer Joy and Clifton's banter. And I feel like they've got a bit more of an organic, natural connection. They always find a little sneaky moments to go off and have a little chat with each other and flirting up a storm, talking about, getting wet but not in the water. So I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. It's going to be an interesting series ahead, particularly as they're in this beach house now. So who knows, with liquor and this beach house and these beautiful people, we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, like I said, I think Joy and Clifton should be with each other. Joy and Laverne, I don't think they should, personally, but it's not like it's my choice. But if I could pick, that's what I would do. And yeah, Precious, I think she needs to just allow the drinking seriously, because she made herself look very thirsty and not able to connect as well. On a deeper level in particular. Like I said, she keeps talking to the guys in a very sexual way, and even they're clocking. I could see why she ended up being, the bottom two. I think going forward it's going to be interesting because I think Carmen is liking Eric and liking Clifton and liking Donovan. And I feel like her main competition is going to be Dikia, because obviously Dikia also likes Eric and seems to like Donovan as well, and also likes Clifton. Clifton, I didn't realise that apparently he also likes Carmen, because he mentioned that he liked Carmen. Obviously Joy is his number one. And what was interesting was Tommy switched it up this week, threw them a little curveball and told the guys that they have to deliver the news to the women of who has not been selected. So that's not an easy thing to do. And it was Demetrius that stands up and calls forward AP and Precious. So it's left on that cliffhanger as to which one of those women have to get sent home. I think it's probably going to be AP, but we shall see. But yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was interesting. I think it's going to be interesting that they've stopped adding new people. I was starting to think, how many more people will you guys be adding at this point? Because it's getting a bit ridiculous. So, yeah, I found it interesting. I thought, like I said, Carmen and certain characters are going to show their true colours as time goes on. But what's quite nice is that we don't have any crazies like we did in last season. So there are no Camille's and Zadias that seem to be giving bad vibes at the moment. But it is early days, so time, things could change. But what do you guys think so far? Is anyone that you're rooting for? As you can tell, I'm kind of, signed into the Joy and Clifton situation. But, things change all the time. And so my opinions will change too. But let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.